Yes, people, what's going on? What's going on? Welcome back to the channel, people. Welcome back. You know what I'm saying? We've got man like Locks today from Blue Tinted Glasses to help us preview the big one tomorrow. The first for the weekend, people, 12:30 kickoff. Listen, Chels, I can't be sitting there tomorrow. Yeah? Locks, I know you're here with me right now, but bro, I can't be sitting there all weekend thinking about missed chances. You know what I'm saying? Thinking about how we could have played better. You know, thinking about how Maresca's in-game management could have been better. Because I need a fucking W. You know what I mean? In our last 5 games, we've won 4 of them, Locks. You know what I'm saying? But how you feeling, man? How are you, bro? First of all, you good?
Yeah, man, I'm really good, thank you. Thanks for inviting me on, mate. This is probably the best mood that I'll be in this weekend before the game. After the match, mate, I'll be in a terrible mood. I don't think it's going to go well for us.
No, we're definitely going to talk into that, man, because Leicester, listen, you've got a few players in your team that I like, the likes of Buonanotte, Fatal. Both of them are not going to be available for the game. You've got Fatal, I saw he's got an injury now for the rest of the season, right? He's injured his knee.
Yeah, ACL, man, so it's not a good one.
ACL?
He was out on international duty with Ghana, and because we've got Jordan Ayew as well, so they both go out there. But yeah, it was an ACL, so he's out for the rest of the season. It's not looking good, man.
Oh, that's not good, man. I'm familiar with him because obviously we've got Maresca, who we'll speak about because obviously you had him last year. He got you promoted on his first attempt. I watched a lot of your games back, and Fatal and Mavididi were 2 players that really impressed me on the wing, you know, because Maresca loves his touchdown wingers, you know. And you've got another one in Buonanotte. What's happening with him?
Yeah, he's classmate. He's probably been player of the season, well, along with the keeper. But he's probably been player of the season. Goals, assists. He's made a massive impact. Because we weren't so sure. We knew he was a good player all along. Because he played over 20 games for Brighton last season, but we weren't sure kind of how good he was. But he's stood out. He's stood out this season. He's been clear. So obviously we'll get onto it. But he's suspended for this one, so he won't be playing. So that's good news for you guys.
Yeah, definitely, man. Because I remember last year at the Bridge when we played Brighton, bro, with 10 men, he scored. I think he scored just before half-time. He was playing on the right, just cut in, and then just bended it. You know what I mean? Very good goal from him. I like him. From the moment I saw him like at Brighton, I said, yeah, this guy looks like a good player. But listen, let's get straight into it then, Locks. So far, bro, what have you thought about your season? Obviously, you came straight back up after losing the likes of Maddison. You obviously managed to keep hold of Dewsbury Hall. You brought in a Maresca who barely had any experience as well, but you had a very good season, bro. I think you conceded the third least amount of goals, and you scored the most amount of goals last year as well. But how have you found it now that you're sort of back in the league, bro? What have you thought about your season so far?
Yeah, I mean, as we all know, you know, when Leicester got relegated, it was a bit of a surprise. So the expectation was that we had to come back up at first time, and we did do that. Obviously, thanks to Maresca. But yeah, it's since being back. I mean, you know, you could look at the table and say it's been better than it was the last time when we had Brendan Rodgers and we went down, but it doesn't tell the right story, mate. The table, you know, Leicester fans aren't happy whatsoever. Even though we're outside of the relegation zone, we feel that we should be higher than where we are, and a lot of that is kind of pointed towards the manager. We feel that even though we've just been promoted and the squad isn't, you know, what it used to be, Leicester's squad, it is still good enough to not be kind of drawn into a relegation battle. And you know, we are 2 wins on the board. You know, we've lost a lot of games. The football is horrendous. It's really, really bad. And so yeah, we're struggling, mate. We are struggling because every time we play, we just find ourselves moaning, even though we're outside the bottom 3. I speak to Ipswich fans, Southampton fans. They look at me and they go, "What? Why aren't you happy? Why aren't you happy?" And I'm like, none of us are really that happy because we just feel like we should be doing better than we are. To be honest with you.
Yeah. What would you say has been bad about your season so far? Like in terms of your games, I've watched a lot of your games back, bro, and I'm seeing, you know, Cooper's kind of taken what Maresca was doing with the inverting of the fullbacks and, you know, sort of trying to do that, and the wing play, you know, playing it in between the lines to Ndidi or to Buonanotte as well. What is it for you that you haven't really enjoyed, bro? Because I've caught quite a few of your games, and I don't think you've been that bad.
So That's only happened. That's only started happening recently. So we started the season and we weren't playing what we call, I don't know what you guys call it. We call it Enzo ball. We weren't playing that way, and we didn't think we would play that way either. We knew with Enzo going and Cooper coming in, we wouldn't play that way. But to start with, it was kind of like a 4-2-3-1 kind of system. It was very much reserved. We were just trying to stay in the game for as long as possible, and then kind of towards the end of the game later on, try and make an impact. I mean, we played Spurs. We got battered in the first game for 45 minutes. Second half, the mentality changed a little bit, and we went for them, and we got a point from that one. Fulham, we were disappointing, but played the same way. And basically up until probably about 4 weeks ago, we made a change against Southampton. We were 2-0 down. And at half-time, Steve Cooper switched the system to having the full-back invert and the 2 high eights with Ndidi and whoever it is, Buonanotte probably. And Ricardo Pereira, who was our inverted full-back, he hadn't played a single minute of Premier League football. He hadn't played a single minute of Premier League football up until the Southampton game. And when he came in, then it allowed us to kind of play that system. And yeah, it's just, it didn't go too well. I mean, we came back from 2-0 down against Southampton. We got a win. We drew against Ipswich. We got beat by Man United. In the Cup, we played United as well, and we did okay. But yeah, it just wasn't to the same level, to the same extent as what it was with Enzo. But now, mate, I'll tell you, you've probably seen it, like you said, because you've looked on Wisecout, but we're without Ricardo. He's now injured, and with that, we will not try and play Enzo ball. It won't happen. It won't happen now because
you're going to revert back to. You're going to revert. You're not going to play the system because this is the system that I've been seeing so far. So you've got your back three there, you've got the pivot in the midfield there, and then you've normally got again Buonanotte in the middle there. So you tend to get Harry Winks on the ball quite a lot, threading it through to him, and then before you know it, chances are just being created, you know? So very fluid. And I'm familiar with this system because this is exactly what Maresca's been doing with us. Do you know what I mean? So what are you saying going forward then? You think he's not gonna do that anymore then?
He won't do it because Ricardo, the player there just outside the circle, above it, that's obviously Ricardo Pereira, the right back who's been inverted in midfield. Did it obviously for 46 games, last season in the Championship. He's injured. So as long as he's not available, I don't think we'll do it. The only other options we can go with, who have done it before under Enzo last season, were Hamza Chowdhury, if you're familiar with him. So
yeah, Hamza Chowdhury, he was inverting from centre back, wasn't he?
Well, he was when Ricardo was rested or substituted to rest him. Hamza would then take up that position as the right back who inverted into midfield. He also played right centre back as well. A couple. But that was the only player who Enzo trusted to actually invert. So but he's not good enough. Hamza Chowdhury he's a destroyer. Right? He is not a technical player. His IQ isn't there either. So I don't think he could do it in the Premier League. So yeah, I don't believe we will play this system here on screen again until Ricardo Pereira is back from injury, which is a few weeks away. I think.
Okay. So you don't think he will even trust James Justin to go in there? Probably.
Nope. No, every time James Justin started at right back, we've gone a completely different route. We've gone for James Justin's basically just got up the pitch really high. He's just been kind of like a right wing back, if anything, which has left him really exposed at the back. Because when we've had Jordan Ayew, for example, or Facundo Buonanotte off the right, then obviously it leaves that space for JJ to go into. As long as JJ starts, which he has to because Ricardo's injured, that will be the role he takes up. He won't play inverted. Yeah.
No, he stretches the pitch quite a lot. He holds a width, and then you have someone else take up that position there. What have you thought about Maresca so far, man? And how did you feel after he left? Because I spoke to a few Leicester fans. Well, I say I spoke to. There's a few of them in my comments. I know Georgie's one of them. Big up Georgie's probably gonna watch this. He was saying, Maresca ball's boring. Prepare for it. I was seeing a lot of salty Leicester fans on Twitter, kind of, making it sound like Maresca's a snake for leaving, I would say. How did you feel when he left, bro? And what have you thought about his time at Chelsea so far?
Well, we all had a wobble with Enzo towards the end of last season. As you're probably aware of when you did your research on him, we kind of fell apart towards the end of the season. Thankfully, we managed to get it over the line. When he left, I mean, the interest from Chelsea was a surprise. Obviously, his decision then to go wasn't a surprise. Guillem Balaguer, who last season was Enzo's mouthpiece in the press. He just kept, hyping him up. He actually came out and said that Enzo wanted the board at Leicester to restructure a little bit and bring in more footballing people, a bit like kind of the Brighton model. But our board wasn't having any of it. And also on top of that, at the time when Enzo left, we were going to get points deductions. We were looking likely favourites to get relegated. So I don't blame him for leaving. I think the thing that has left a sour taste in some of the fans' mouths is Enzo. It was very silent from him. There was nothing. We didn't, when I'm not, it's just how football is these days, mate. When a player or a manager leaves a club, normally there's some kind of statement or thank you the club. It was completely radio silent. So that annoyed a few people. But if I'm honest with you, I'd say 95% of fans would obviously take him back in a heartbeat over what we've got currently. A lot of fans thought he might flop at Chelsea. I think that was probably based off your history in the last couple of years. With your board and how your club's acted and top managers like Pochettino, for example, not really doing it. So I think that is why they thought he would flop. But for me, mate, it's not a surprise. I mean, he's done really well, I think, so far. And we were discussing this on my stream the other night. We said that Enzo at Chelsea, we think, puts Chelsea as the next club to win the Premier League after Man City. And we think that's over Arsenal. Arsenal, we think Enzo's Chelsea would do that.
Yeah, what makes you say that, bro? Because for me, that's not a surprising take, because I feel the same about it as well. I think our trajectory in terms of the ambition showed from the owners, in terms of our squad, like I've said, obviously you can't buy experience really, because you need to learn together as a team. You need to grow together. Like Arsenal, they've had Arteta for 5 years. We've had Maresca now for a couple months. It hasn't even been 6 months that we've had him. You know what I mean? Yep. But what makes you say that? What makes you think that he's the guy that's going to be next in line to take over from Pep?
Well, a couple things really. I mean, he has the system, which we call the system. I mean, you see all the teams that are winning around the world are using this system or a similar system, playing this style of football. His enthusiasm, he just breathes football. He breathes this style of football. Everybody has to be on board, otherwise they're gone out, off, out of the club probably. I mean, we had, for example, Victor Christiansen, who's our current left back. Last season when we got relegated, when he came in, Enzo said to him, "Right, we're going to be playing this way. I'm going to be relying on you to maybe play as a left centre back or a left back that kind of comes in." And he said, "I'm not really keen on that." And then we said, "All right, off you go, and you're out on loan." And he went to Bologna in Italy. So. Anyone who doesn't agree with his way of doing things, they're gone. And I think that is brave. And as an inexperienced manager with not much clout in the game, not much credit in the game, that is brave. Because some people would say, how, I've been around for 5 years, 10 years, you've been around for 2 years, what are you doing? But he doesn't care. He's a savage, really, when it comes to stuff like that. So I just think that he's got that winning mentality, just like Pep. He's just a different breed, I think. And I think that is what will take him to the top. And, with the financial backing that he'll have at Chelsea, I know there was some doubts about whether he would get the players he wants. I think he probably would get them because the board have to get on board with him. Otherwise, what's the point of having him? You know what I mean?
100%. 100%, bro. He makes some key points, and that's something that I like. And something that I've seen already in terms of being brave and being honest. With Raheem Sterling, he said to him, "Yo, you're not part of my plans." You know what I'm saying? Shifted him to the side. We're seeing Ben Chilwell. We struggled to get him a move, but again, he's another one that's been frozen out. Carney, it's a shame for Carney because I really like him. Carney Chukwuemeka. Remember when we played you lot at the Bridge last year? He scored against you. Cole Palmer set him up. Very good player, but again, he's another one that's been kind of put on the back burner there, bro. So listen, I must, like me, I love brave managers, bro. That's something that Potter wasn't. That's something that Poch wasn't. Poch was very scared to drop certain players with a little bit of clout or a name. You had Potter scared to stick to a system, kept changing the team. Remember, we had about 40 players in that season. Yep. We finished 12th in the end. And you're actually one of the few teams that we beat that year. I was at that ground again when we beat you, when we finished 12th. I think we beat you 3-1. Daka scored. We had Kovacic scored and Havertz scored. I think Felix scored the first goal as well. So that was a good game for us. But ultimately, listen, I'm not surprised with what Maresca's doing at the minute. You know, all summer I was being called deluded locks. You know, why are you saying this about this guy? You know, you lot have had so many managers that have failed. He's a championship manager. He's going to a big club. And I kept saying, bro, listen, in terms of pressure, these are all little intangibles in the game, right? You always have to, you can say that for any manager that's coming into any big club, right? But ultimately, for me, we needed someone that knows how to work with the players that we've got. And that's exactly what Maresca's showing. Yeah. There's a few
and he's made some adjustments. He's made some tweaks as well.
Yeah, exactly, bro. He's making some tweaks. We haven't played the same way in every single game. Like, for example, against Brighton, we were countering them rather than trying to keep the ball. Against Arsenal was a little bit more reserved, trying to counter them. And it was kind of, you know, sort of back and forth between us. Against United, I mean, that was a shit performance in all honesty. But there's been games this season, like Newcastle, for example, where again, it was more sort of transition play in that game. So he's showed us that he can adapt depending on who he's playing against, right? Liverpool, we kept more of the ball as well. And that's something that I was seeing more of at Leicester. Some stats actually came out from The Athletic as well, that he was keeping the ball more with Leicester, right? Obviously, this time around, we've played against tougher opposition. So he's had to kind of tweak a little things here, you know, a few things here and there. And for me, this time around, there's a few things that I'm not liking. For example, Gusto playing in one of the 8s, one of the 10 rows. We'll speak about that. I'm not a big fan of it at the minute. I think him playing in that position, he just breaks down so many of our attacks, you know, and he hasn't really got a relationship with Madueke on that side, you know. Cole Palmer playing in the right is a lot better than playing on the left. And right now we've got Gusto playing in there because Maresca wants to sort of add more attacking options. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So we'll get into that in a little bit more detail as well. But listen, I'm not surprised with how he's getting on at the minute because football isn't rocket science, you know. So many coaches make it seem like trigonometry. Maresca's come in and said, yeah, you're playing in your position. You're playing in your position. You're playing in your position. I don't want you to play here anymore, and kind of found his starting 11. Do you know what I mean?
Let me tell you something though, right? Because I think I think some of the criticism that you said that Leicester fans gave him in your comments and stuff, a lot of it would have been fair because he has actually changed. He's changed his way a little bit. I think he's learnt from last season. Because you've got to think, I know he managed Parma for a little bit in Italy, but this was his first proper top. I say top, it was in the Championship with Leicester, but you know what I mean. And yeah, the concerns and the criticism that he got from Leicester fans was that he went into every single game exactly the same. And you've just said that yourself, that he has changed from game to game with Chelsea. Now, whether he did that at Leicester because we were just a superior team, we were better than everybody we played last season, right? Squad quality, the amount the squad cost, all of that stuff. Maybe he just thought, right, we're going to play this way no matter what because we are better than everyone. Or maybe the players just weren't up to scratch to keep switching it. Maybe it would have confused things. I don't know what the reason behind it was. Or maybe he just has learnt from it. He saw that we did collapse a little bit. The teams that we were playing against caught on. They figured us out. And at Chelsea now, he's learnt from that, and he is making tweaks where he needs to. So I think that the criticism that he did get from Leicester fans was fair, but it looks like he is improving on that for sure.
Yeah, no, 100%, bro, 100%. And going into this game, bro, who are you kind of sort of looking at from a Chelsea point of view and saying, yo, we need to sort of watch out for that person? What 2 players would you say right now you're on the lookout for, bro?
Well, Cole Palmer, of course. Look, I mean, as a football fan that was outside of the Premier League for a year, I didn't watch it as much. Of course, I kept my eye on it, but I was more focused on the Championship. But I mean, you know, coming back to it, I've been watching more games, and every time I watch a Chelsea game now, I'm there watching. All right, I want to see how Enzo's got them playing. But I look at Cole Palmer, even the games he doesn't score or get assists, I'm just like, wow, this guy, man, this guy's just something else. So hit him for sure. I'll tell you who I do really like, mate, because he had a lot of stick, and I think rightly so. But Nicholas Jackson, of course, he's had a lot of stick over his time at Chelsea so far. But now, mate, I watch him and like he looks. I don't know if it's what Enzo's done to him or if it's just purely from confidence, but I like him, mate. I really do like him. I think he's better than a lot of other strikers in the Premier League that that people have probably put above Jackson in their bloody tier lists and stuff in the past. I think now he is becoming a much better striker. So yeah, those two for me, mate.
Yeah, no, 100%, bro. Jackson, very underrated. You know, last year, what a lot of rivals were doing were focusing on the big missed chances, and they weren't really giving him any credit on the goals that he was scoring. You know, he came in and scored 14 non-penalty goals, bro, in his first season. And we didn't even pay 40 million for the guy. We paid, I think, 32 million, something like that. And this year, if you actually go check his conversion rate, it's up there. You know, he's not being as wasteful as what he was last season. So clearly, like you're saying, Maresca's improving him. And that's a sign of a good coach. You know, for example, if you look at Slot at Liverpool, you look at Gakpo, you look at Diaz, some of these guys, a lot of Liverpool fans are saying, yo, get rid of them. You know, you're looking at Konate, he's gone up a level, right? That shows you that that is a good coach. And same thing as Maresca, Jackson fits exactly what he wants to do. In build-up, he gets the ball from the centre-backs, for example, Levi Colwill, or he might get it from Enzo Fernandez. He just pops it off, or he turns with it, brings, you know, opens up a lot of space, pops off to the likes of Palmer. Before you know it, we're getting in dangerous situations. You know, for me, the main thing that he needs to improve on is his box movement, because in the box, he's not the best. He's getting better at running in behind, but he's not a natural striker, because coming up, he actually came up as a winger, right? And he started to learn to play that role a little bit later on before he left Spain. So yeah, that's the main thing that I would say. Like, we still need a different profile, like an Osimhen, or like a Gokeres, someone that's actually, you know, a natural striker who can get in the box and get on the end of headers and so on. Because Jackson's not really that type of profile. He's more link-up play, running behind, you know, a bit skillful, flary, that sort of thing. Do you know what I mean? But he can still cause problems to your defense for sure, bro. For sure.
Mate, honestly, he's a very, you know, you're right when you say that managers, the best managers in the world, are the ones that can get the most out of players, and some of these players that they get the most out of really aren't even that good. But Enzo did it so well. I mean, Wilfred Ndidi, you know, everyone, you will remember him as a 6. He's always been a 6, and he was playing in that high 8 position, getting goals, getting assists. You know, his movement improved. And he was actually one of the players that was going to leave when we got relegated. But Enzo came to him and gave him this vision of how he would contribute to the team. And he said, yeah, you know what? I'll stay around. I'll stick around. So same with Kiernan Dewsbury Hall. You know, it's an interesting player to talk about. But when we were in the Premier League, he would quite often play more of a, quite a deep 8, sometimes a 6, but a deep 8 at times. Of course, he would drive with the ball like he does, but he was never a 10 or a high 8. And again, you know, Enzo got him in. He was in the team of the season. He should have won Player of the Season, in my opinion, in the Championship. But Crescencio Somerville won that one. I think he had like 20. I can't remember the numbers. It was over 20 goals and assists in the Championship, and you know, probably it was definitely our best player, probably Player of the Season in the Championship. So yeah, the best managers can get the best out of even the most mediocre of players, mate. And I think that's what Enzo did at Chelsea, at Leicester.
So let me just load up your 11 that you think you're gonna go with, bro. I want you to talk me through this, man. What's your thinking behind this, bro? So yeah, talk us through it, bro.
Yeah, man. So this is my predicted 11. So starting at the bat, obviously Hermanson, I think, has been the best goalkeeper this season in the Premier League. I think he'll be the next big money sale that Leicester City make. Maybe even to Chelsea in the future. Obviously, Enzo's a big fan of him. Enzo is who brought him to Leicester. I did hear a rumor. I don't know how true it is. I heard a rumor that Chelsea did actually come in for him in the summer, and we turned around and said it would cost 50 million, and Chelsea said, "Nah, okay, we're not paying that." So that's why it never happened. So yeah, he'll be gone soon. The back four, like I said, if Ricardo was fit, I would definitely put him in there, but he's injured, unfortunately, for the next few weeks at least. So it will be James Justin. He is our only fit right back. The rest of them, Victor Christensen, he is our best left back. The other option is Luke Thomas, but he's absolute. I mean, he's piss poor, mate. He's awful. So that just leaves the 2 centre backs, Vestergaard and Fass. Again, we've been switching between Vestergaard and Caleb Okoli, who we signed from Atalanta in the summer. But Vestergaard is probably, he's the most experienced. Okoli made some mistakes recently, so this will be the back two that I think they'll go with. Fass is the quickest out of all our centre backs, so that's why he's going to be in there. then it gets a little bit more difficult trying to predict it because we have Winks, we have Ndidi, we have Oliver Skip, we've got Bilal El Khanous, who I've put in the 10 there. These players can all play in 6, 8, and 10, really. I think it will be Ndidi and Winks. That has been the favoured choice of Steve Cooper this season. Obviously, we know what Ndidi can do in terms of interceptions, tackling, blocks, all of that. Winks is the man that makes it all happen when we do win the ball. Kind of like that deep line playmaker in a way. It doesn't matter what system we play, he's always vital for that. And then Steffi Mavididi, I mean, you saw him. You said you watched some of our games back, and you know, numbers wise last season, just quality, lots of goals, a lot of assists. Obviously, Abdul Fattah on the right is now, like we said, injured. He's got an ACL, so he won't be back for a few months. Jordan Ayew has been probably the biggest surprise for Leicester fans. He's been really, really good since he came in on a free. Sorry, not on a free. Sorry, 5 million to 8 million with add-ons. Palace fans did tell us, like, we're sad to see him go, but you know, a few eyebrows raised at it. But he's been really, really good since he's come in. So I think he'll play in there off the right. Bilal El Khanous, £25 million signing in the summer. Moroccan international. He's struggled for game time this season because of Buonanotte, who's suspended for this game. So it will be El Khanous, in my opinion. Again, he could play as an 8 or a 10. These three here, by the way, especially in Ndidi and El Khanous, you might see them quite fluid, kind of rotating positions, because Ndidi does like to get forward. And I expect when he does get forward, El Khanous will drop in a little bit. But yeah, El Khanous still to prove himself. He scored a goal against United in the Cup. But other than that, he's not really done too much. And then the top 6 slayer in Jamie Vardy, the Leicester City GOAT, still going strong, 37 years of age. He has been injured in the last couple of weeks, but I believe he is back now, ready to play. And I think against the top 6 team, it has to be Vards. There is no one else you can play there because, he's just the GOAT. He's the GOAT.
Yeah, no. Listen, Vardy. Listen, big respect for that guy, man, because the longevity is mad. You know what I mean? He won the Prem in 2016, and he's still playing for Leicester, scoring goals back in the Prem. You know what I mean? It's crazy out here. But just
mate, I think it's 20. Oh, sorry, I was just going to say 2012. He was playing non-league. 2014 promoted to the Premier League. 2016 wins the Premier League. 2020 wins the Golden Boot. 2021 wins the FA Cup. 2024 third top goal scorer in the Championship, and now he's scored a couple of goals as well this season. So yeah,
you didn't have to remind me about that fucking FA Cup looks. You know what I'm saying? That one shot that you lot had all game, a banger, and then we fucking score in the last second of the game with Ben Chilwell written in the stars. And then, it's given as offside. That was a killer. That was a killer, man.
Yeah. That's why we hate Chilwell.
Oh, yeah. Oh, well, listen, you could take him back. You know what I mean? You could take him
no,
back.
Thanks. I don't want to.
You know what I'm saying? But yeah, indeed, listen, I've been really impressed with how I normally see him in like the left half space. Obviously, when you've got someone inverting, but now he's going to have to kind of stay back a little bit. But yeah, I'll be wary of that, bro, in terms of the rotation between these two. So what you're saying is when Ndidi goes, he tends to stay back, is what you're saying?
Yeah. So whoever is in the 10, obviously El Khanous hasn't played too much, like I said, but Buonanotte has dropped back at times. The thing with Wilf is his runs are really good. He's obviously got a lot of physicality, so he can get past the man. But when he's one-on-one, he will not score. He can't. He's just got, honestly, mate, it's awful. His first touch really isn't too good. His composure's just not there. So he'll just lash at it, and so that's a shame. But vision wise and making the runs, he's up there. So yeah, he'll probably rotate a little bit with El Khanous. But I think it's important because in the system that I expect us to play with Ayew cutting in a little bit, JJ getting forward, Wilfred Ndidi is going to be relied on to kind of cover JJ a little bit on that right side. So so that's how I expect it to go. So I don't expect him to get forward too much, but he will make some runs for sure.
Yeah, no, 100%, bro. But listen, looking at that team, I can't lie, bro. No disrespect. We have to fucking beat you. You know what I'm saying? We have to beat you, man. We've got better players. For me, we've got the better coach. You know what I'm saying? We're in better form at the minute. We're literally third in the league. And watching back the game when you lot played Arsenal, and I can see exactly why you struggled in that game against them, because they did not let you build up. You know what I'm saying? If you look at Arsenal here, they've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 players. You know what I'm saying? Just boxing you in there, not letting you build up, right? And that was a pass from, I think, from this guy over here. Trossard intercepts it. Yeah, Bacoli, yeah. So Trossard intercepted it. Before you know it, Martinelli ended up having a shot over there, right? You've got another.
But look
example.
at JJ. Look at JJ on that image, on that screenshot. This is what I'm talking about. So in this game, we didn't play Enzo ball in this game. This was Cooper. This was all Cooper, and you can see, right, James Justin there, how wide he is, how high he is, and that has been the story of our season when we've played this way. JJ, it doesn't surprise me that you said Martinelli scored that because, sorry, had a shot there because
he had a shot.
He would have had so much space. Yeah, he would have had so much space, and that is the way you kill us, right? That is how you kill us tomorrow. It is on that right side. I think like 75 or 80% of our goals conceded have come down that side, and that is how you will punish us.
Yeah. No, that's good to know, man. And for me, I reckon we're probably gonna start Neto on that side, because listen, there's a lot of calls for Madueke to be dropped, and for me, like I've said, I want to see Neto start on the right, but I can still see Maresca starting him for this game. He had a good time with England as well. You know what I mean? But just a few more examples here of Arsenal pressing you. For example, like you've got Trossard here. What's this guy's name, by the way? The guy with the dreads. Let's see. Is it up on your screen yet?
No, I've not got it, mate. No.
Let's see. Right, StreamYard's moving mad today. All right, there we go. Right, so you got Trossard pressing him. Yeah, then you've got, for example, you've got Havertz. I think that's Havertz there. You know, Saka high. They were literally not letting you breathe. You know what I'm saying? They weren't letting you breathe. And then in the second half as well, they created a massive chance from winning the ball back quite high. So if you look here as well, bro, yeah, this is from Trossard winning the ball from your keeper. Your keeper gave it to him, gave it to one of your players here, gets intercepted. Trossard has a shot. He made a very good save, but this was all from Arsenal pressing quite high. So that's exactly what we need to do as well, bro. We need to take notes from what Arsenal will do. And obviously, Arsenal press quite high. Against us, they were trying to do that, but we kept beating their press because obviously we've got better players. But we need to do the same to you, because when it comes to counter pressing, we normally counter press at the front with Jackson and Palmer, and then you've got the pivot of Caicedo and Lavia behind them as well that tend to help out.
That was with us as well. That's what happened with us last season. Yeah,
definitely, bro. So yeah, I think off the ball, we definitely need to make sure that we are doing that, bro. But if I show you, this is my lineup that I think is gonna go with. Right, so this is the lineup that I think is gonna go with 4-2-3-1. Obviously, Sanchez in goal. If we're gonna concede in this game, bro, he's gonna have a part to play in it, because he's just been, his shot stopping hasn't been bad, in all honesty, Locks. It's not his shot stopping that my problem is. It's just the bozo moments that he has. He's always a minute away from a mistake, whether that's giving it straight to the opponent, whether that's, missed timing a jump, whether that's giving away a penalty. Right now he's equal with the I think the Ipswich keeper for the most goals where it's been his fault. You know what I'm saying? Where he's played a big part. It's free, right? He's equal with the Ipswich keeper right now. So it's not good, man. But Maresca right now is adamant that he's not being dropped, and he consistently keeps playing it. So if we concede, I reckon he's gonna have a big part to play in that. We've got Fofana at the back with Colwell. They're building a nice little partnership at the minute. Colwell's kind of felted off a little bit since the Liverpool game, but I'm hoping this is the game now. Had a little bit of a break. I don't think he went to England either. I don't think. I didn't watch any of the games. I was on holiday. But he should be a little bit replenished now. We've got easier fixtures there. Fofana obviously back at Leicester as well. You've got Gusto for me, who hasn't been great this season, and I'll explain to you in the next graphic why. But Cucurella at left back. You've got Caicedo, Lavia pivot, Noni on the right, Palmer in the 10, obviously Neto on the left, and Jackson up top. And this is the predicted lineup that I think is going to go with, not my lineup. Because if it was up to me, I'm playing Neto on the right, dropping Madueke, but I don't think that he's going to drop Madueke for this game. If he drops him, I'll be surprised. You know what I mean? I'll be surprised if he drops him. But just on looking at that, bro, yeah. Let me show you what it's going to be looking like on the ball, because our shape on the ball is completely different.
Let me say though, right? So, Pedro Neto's my FPL this weekend, man, for 100%. He will contribute, man, up against James Justin, 100%, no doubt.
Yeah, he's been cooking. He's been cooking, bro. So hopefully he gets an assist, gets a goal. That'll be good, man. So yeah, this is what we normally do in on the boards. You normally have a 3-2. It's like a 3-2, 4-1, if you want to call it that. So you've got Levi, who's normally central there, Fofana right centre back, Cucurella left centre back, Caicedo and Lavia tend to stay the pivot. With Caicedo, he goes up a little bit further up, like a box to box, I would say. And then you now we've got Gusto in that right half space, which for me, like I've said, has been the major problem. And that's why I've actually put him on the thumbnail, because this is a massive talking point right now within the Chelsea sort of fan base, because he's been playing in a role where, again, Cole Palmer shines the most. I saw a stat today that Cole Palmer and Madueke have created the most chances for each other. You know what I'm saying? And for me, it's very clear to see why, because they've played together for a lot of years, bro. Before both of them came to Chelsea, they were playing together for England. They understand each other's game. You know what I mean? And every time Palmer's picking up the ball here in this space, he's always looking to give it to Noni. Always looking to give it to Noni. Noni gets the ball. He's always looking to give it back to Palmer. But when Gusto gets on the ball, he fucking shoots into Rose Ed, bro. You know what I mean? Simple passes to Madueke, he struggles to do it consistently. Little cutbacks for Gusto as well. They just don't really have that partnership right now, and it's affecting that side of his game. And Noni's got even worse since Palmer's moved away from him. So for me, ideally, I wouldn't want to play Gusto in this half space. Ideally, I would play Cucurella here, Palmer there, right, and then have probably Gusto sitting back. But the problem that you've got when you do that is Cole will have to cover the wide areas, and he's not the best there. You know what I'm trying to say? So that's the issue that you've got. But right now, listen, if Gusto's going to play there, which I think he will, he just needs to make sure that he improves his end product, man, because it's just basic stuff. Looks like simple little through threaded balls. He's been struggling to do it. I don't know if you remember the game against United. He was doing the same shit, bro. Against Liverpool, he got subbed off at halftime as well for just giving the ball away, bro. You know what I mean?
This is something Enzo never did, by the way, at Leicester. He never had the fullback as one of the eights. Never. Well, he did, but only as an addition, if that makes sense. So the only time he did it was if we were against a team that would park the bus. What would happen is Winks would just be there on his own in the pivot on his own. And then you would have kind of like you'd have a build-up of 6, really. So with Ricardo as like a third 8. So, yeah, he never did this. This is something different, which I was surprised at when I saw it. Well, actually, nothing surprises me with Maresca, but yeah, a lot of Leicester fans were a little bit surprised by it. So it is interesting to see, though, that this little tweak that he's made, for sure.
Yeah, 100%, bro. The thing is, I'm not mad at this, this what do you call it? Like a system. I think the system's a really good idea. The issue that I've got is our big chances keep falling to the wrong person, right? So it's the personnel that I've got a problem with at the minute, right? The ball keeps landing to Gusto, and his end product has just not been good. Last season, Gusto was probably our second most consistent player after Palmer, right? If it wasn't for Palmer's season, you're looking at Gusto and saying, yo, potentially player of the year. But this year, he's having to learn a new role. He's very young, bro. It's very clear to me that there's too much baggage. You know what I mean? Too much baggage. But again, no disrespect. He is playing against a lesser opposition, with who are missing key players. So hopefully he should be able to produce a little bit more end products, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, honestly, mate, I don't think you need to worry really too much. I know, obviously, naturally, you'll just think worst case scenario. What if this happens? What if that happens? But I don't expect us to cause you too many problems. I think this will be quite a defeatist performance from Leicester. I just think we're just going to try and damage limitation, try and get through the game. I wouldn't be surprised if it's 0-0 come half time, but eventually you'll do some. You'll carve us open. And then it could go 2-3-4, mate. Honestly, after that,
what would you say is your prediction then, just to finish up?
I'm going to say 4-0 Chels.
4-0 Chels. Fucking hell.
And I think they'll all come second half. Yeah, I think we will do well to defend the first half. But honestly, mate, when the first one comes, then Cooper has no option but to go for one. And when that happens, we'll be open, mate. We'll be open.
Yeah. Listen, I hope it's 4-0 because I done a pod on Tuesday, Blue Diaries, and I spoke about the fact that we need to start scoring multiple goals again. Again, I understand we've had tougher fixtures, but we keep chasing games, scoring 1 goal. We scored 2 against Newcastle. It's been a minute since I saw 4 against Brighton. It's been a minute since I've seen 6 against Wolves. We've got an easier set of fixtures, so I'm expecting us to score more goals ultimately.
You get a couple a year. You get a couple a year with Enzo. We didn't have many, but there was one game where we smashed Southampton 5-0 towards the end of the season. We beat Stoke. It was 4 or 5-0. I can't remember. And maybe Plymouth 4-0. But other than that, they were all, 1, 2, maybe 3. So yeah, you will get a couple, and I think clearly it'll be this weekend, mate. I think tomorrow you'll be happy.
Bro, listen, I pray that you're right, because obviously I'm going to be at the game tomorrow. Again, early kickoff. I need to leave London quite early to get to Leicester. But I'm going to predict. Listen, with Sanchez in goal, anything's possible for the opponent, man. I'm going to say 3-1. I'm going to say 3-1 to Chelsea. I think we're gonna score a few goals in this game, man. But Locks, listen, appreciate you for jumping on, bro. Let them know where they can find you. I'll put your YouTube in the description as well, bro.
Lovely stuff. Thank you, mate. Yeah, blue ticket glasses. There's stuff out already. So NHS fans, if you want to have a watch, we did a match preview on Thursday night. So yeah, you can go check that out. And then there'll be plenty of stuff in the aftermath as well, like reviews and stuff. So yeah, appreciate that, mate. Cheers.
Brilliant, man. And apart from Pereira and Buonanotte, are they the only two that aren't available for this game? Is anyone else?
Buonanotte, Fatawu, Ricardo Pereira, and who else is that? Patson Daka, but he's not played all season. He might be back. He had I think he had it wasn't an ACL, but it was is it an MCL maybe or something like that? He had something quite serious in preseason, so he might be back, but unsure at this point.
Yeah, no stress, bro. But listen, people, make sure that you leave your comments in here. Let me know what you would do in terms of your predicted lineup. Let me know your score predictions in there as well. Leicester fans, Georgie, I know you're going to watch this. You know what I'm saying? Let me know, bro.
Georgie's a good lad. He's a good lad, Georgie.
Up the fucking Chels. Let's go, boys. Make sure that you leave with 3 points. Please, bro. Please.